Hi, I'm Mike Thompson. My foam cutter that was made out of cardboard finally doesn't hold any tension after 2 years, so we had to finally scrap it. So my assistant and I are going to make a new one out of scrap laying around the shop here. First thing we're going to do is use this Forstner bit to drill a hole in the center of this arbitrarily sized piece of wood. Okay, off. Okay, so now I'm going to take this scrap piece of 3/4 inch pine plywood and rip it into thin sections to make the C-frame to support the wire. Okay, so now we've got the two pieces for the upper and lower arm for the C-frame. These are 2-inch wide now by 3/4 inch thick. This last piece we'll use for the spine. The spine carries the most bending stress, so it's going to be a little bit thicker. I've got a decent bit here. However, I want to leave a little bit left over to make some legs to prop the table off the board so that these can fit underneath. In order to anchor the arms to the spine, there's several ways we could go. You could do a lap joint this way, where you just place this in front of this. However, that does induce a little bit of torque because it's no longer in line. It also, if we just do a 2-bolted connection or something, it's going to allow this to sag a little bit. The best way would be to mount it like this. This involves drilling very precise holes down through the top, however. Although, I think we can do that. So we're going to put 2 screws down through here. We'll use just 3-inch deck screws, and we'll countersink them quite a ways.
Oh, I know that's a long way to go.
So I've got it clamped up here in my vise, and I'm locating the pilot holes down into the spine. Then I'll unclamp the frame top here and finish out my pilot holes down into the spine so that I can put my 3-inch deck screws down inside. Then we're going to set our depth stop for our countersink, and then drill 1-inch deep countersunk holes so that we can get the deck screws in. Because otherwise they won't reach. And when we pop it out of the vise, we've got our completed C-frame. Very, very sturdy. Not really surprising considering the 3/4 inch pine is pretty strong. But you know, I had a lot of leftovers from my workbench that I built, so this turned out to be a pretty good material. Then I drill a hole near the ends of each of the tops so that I can put a bolt through which will hold the wire. And now I cut a slot in the end of some bolt heads to hold the wire so that it centers it up. And then I cut 4 short legs out of the piece that remains. And then we glue them on.
Okay. Line this one up at the back corner.
And then I've got a stack of washers and nuts here to use as a centering jig so that I can locate the bottom arm of the frame. And then I set the bottom part of the frame on my little alignment post. And then I measure each side near the back to make sure that it's straight. If both numbers match, then I know it's straight. And then I screw the bottom of the frame into the table. Now it's got a little bit of wobble because it's so tall and thin. So this 1/4 inch piece here that I'm squaring up at the back will support the spine and eliminate this side-to-side wiggle. And it looks like that when it's finished. Now I wrap the wire around my lower bolt and insert it into the table. Then I flip the table on its back and tighten it down. Then I slip a larger washer down here into my little counterbore, flush with the top of the table. This prevents the hot wire from possibly catching the wood on fire. And then I attach the wire to the top bolt here, and then I tune it up. That sounds pretty good.
Look, I made a number 1.
You did?
That's number 1.
We originally intended it to be used from that end back this way. However, the depth of this thing is a little over 3 feet. Finding a table that deep is difficult. However, using it from the side like this is very convenient. And then you have infinite throat depth in this direction. And very rarely we're ever going to cut something that's 24 inches wide to this side. So this spine really will never interfere. As you can see, he absolutely loves this thing. Well, you can see this thing is absolutely huge. Much bigger than I thought it would be. I need to think about maybe making a way to break it down for storage. I've got it sitting here up on my table saw for the moment, just to kind of show how big it is. Now, one thing I'm going to do is solder some wires permanently to the washers on the top and the bottom bolts, because I want an easier way to plug in my power supply here. The leads coming out of this power supply, you can see, are a little bit short, really. I'd like to have a wire run neatly all along the frame. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It wasn't all that difficult. It was made out of scrap, and it took us, what, maybe an hour and a half at most is all? Yeah, had you not been helping, it would have taken a lot longer. But this is something you can definitely do yourself. Just don't be afraid to try. Go ahead and subscribe if you have...
I'm supposed to say that. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm out. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.